Are you ready to make restaurant quality creme brulee at home? Today, we're taking farm fresh eggs, some high quality milk, and a brand new kitchen toy. We're putting it to use to show you how to make this classic French dessert. Stick with us, and we're gonna show you how. So many of you have probably heard of or had creme brulee at a restaurant in some way, shape, or form. It's a really classic French dessert, one that we've actually been asked by some friends of our show to show people how to do.
If you had to learn to cook one new thing, what would it be?
I need to learn how to cook creme brulee. It's my favorite, but it seems real fancy.
Creme brulee, let's do it.
It can be kind of intimidating at first, a couple of different steps that aren't our typical pattern in the kitchen. But today we're going to take the trepidation out of making this incredibly delicious, custardy, rich, sweet dessert that has the perfect glassy, crispy crack topping of burnt sugar on top. We're going to give a little bit of history here. This one is French in origin. So our first known recipe for creme brulee comes from a French chef named Francois Massioli. All the way back in, can you guess how far back it was, Xander?
A long time ago.
A long time ago, so much so that it was in 1691. And we have a reference in a cookbook that he helped write called Les Cuisiniers Royal et Bourgeois. Eggs, milk or actual cream, sugar, and fire. Creme brulee means burnt cream. Really simple. However, today we're going to show you how not to actually burn your cream, but we're going to show you how to torch your sugar properly to get that absolutely gorgeous crack topping for this dessert. We also have to make a shout out too here because we were gifted some beautiful eggs from Sharon. So we decided to treat them as best we can and make this delicious dessert. You can see these farm eggs, different sizes here, really beautiful. The recipe is gonna depend upon the size of our eggs, but it's a very simple 6-ingredient recipe. Again, a couple new methods that we're gonna show you, including how to torch the top. If you don't have a torch in your kitchen, we're going to show you how to use your oven and your broiler, how to do that. We're also going to show you what's called a water bath technique that is pivotal in making the creamiest custard. And that is exactly what creme brulee is. It is a custard. Custard is a mixture of egg yolks and dairy products, and the egg helps thicken that up with the addition of some sugar. We're gonna wash our hands, we're going to get into the kitchen, and we're gonna show you some new things. Now that we're in the kitchen, first step before we get rolling on any of the food is actually to get our oven preheated to 325. We went to the market this morning and grabbed some high quality milk from one of our local providers. We find that the higher fat content, such as like a vitamin D milk, makes a silkier and richer custard, so we recommend going with a fuller fat dairy product here. Now the recipe for this is going to be in the description below. If you don't know how to separate an egg yolk from its egg white and its shell, we're going to show you really quick how to do it here. We're going to grab 2 bowls to separate into because we're going to save our egg whites for later use. We're going to tap the egg, we're going to find that crack, we're going to take 2 of our thumbs, push it in, pulling back to open up. This will help catch the egg yolk in one side of the egg shell. And then you're going to gently move it back and forth between the eggshells, slowly letting the egg white drop into the bowl. And this is also going to use the edge of the egg shell to help cut the egg white off, so you're just isolating the egg yolk. Go ahead and take that egg yolk and put it into your bowl. Now, we need roughly about 7 good-sized egg yolks. We know that farm fresh eggs, ones that are raised really well, kind of loved, hugged, and kissed, their yolks are going to be richer. You'll notice a difference in color. Our yolks here are really nice and vibrant colored, kind of almost yellow-orange. If you don't have access to these types of eggs, go ahead and use whatever eggs you want, but size will matter as well. You can see here that Xander has 2 chicken eggs, but they are very different size. Now, the more egg yolks that are in your custard, the richer and harder it will set. If you want a looser or thinner or maybe a little bit lighter custard, use less eggs, but we need about 7 egg yolks here. We're gonna use our regular size egg yolks. We're gonna save these little guys for little tiny omelets later on. So once you have the eggs separated, we're gonna add our sugar to that egg yolk bowl. We're gonna take a whisk and we're gonna whisk that together. It's gonna be a really thick paste and you're gonna see it's kind of really gritty. This will all dissolve here in our next couple of steps. So we're gonna set that aside and we're gonna move to our stove. Once we're over to our stove, we're going to take our dairy products, so our milk and our cream, and we're using kind of a 2-to-1 ratio of milk to cream. If you wanna use completely heavy cream or completely milk, you will have different outcomes. Now, if you use more fat in the custard, like we were saying earlier, you will have a richer, kind of a heavier set on the custard itself. If you use less fat, so all milk instead of cream, it will be a lighter, less rich custard. We're gonna add our vanilla extract and a couple of pinches of salt, roughly about a 1/4 teaspoon to start. We're gonna probably go just a touch more here to balance how sweet this is. And then we're gonna kick it on to a medium heat. What we're doing here is bringing the cream and milk mixture up, dissolving the salt and steeping the vanilla in. We're gonna bring the cream mixture up to just about a simmer. And this is the part where we were talking about earlier. We're not actually looking to burn or scald our cream because that flavor is one that you can't come back from. If you burn or roach a milk product, it tastes so burnt and so awful, and there's nothing you can do to hide it. There's no extra ingredient that you can add that'll save this. You have to start over again. So once it comes up to a simmer, you're gonna kick that off the heat and you're gonna just kind of slide it to the back of your stove and let it steep. Now, steeping is the culinary practice of letting liquid and flavoring ingredients kind of come together, marry and absorb with each other, but also help bloom some of the flavors out and make them more intense. While that's steeping on the back of the stove, we're going to get our ramekins set up. Now, ramekins are the little porcelain dishes that you normally see creme brulee served in classically. We are looking for uniform size and depth as best we can. You can find ramekins of all shapes, sizes, and colors on Amazon for really, really cheap. Here we've just got a couple that we've been borrowing from a friend. Thank you, Miss Kate. So we're gonna take a 9x13 and we're gonna set 6 ramekins into the 9x13 so we're ready to go for our next step. Now we're gonna move back to the stove. We're gonna grab our cream. We're gonna bring it over to our bowl of egg yolk and sugar mixture that we had from earlier. Now this is the step that I have messed up more times than I care to admit, but because we believe in radical honesty and we want you to trust what we're doing here, all chefs make mistakes and I make them often. However, we're teaching you here how to avoid the biggest one in making creme brulee, and that is curdling your egg. When you add a hot liquid to an egg yolk, if it's too hot and you're not moving fast enough, this is where you'll actually just wind up making scrambled eggs, and they are really gross when you've got sugar and vanilla in them. Our cream mixture is still nice and hot. We've got our egg yolks with the sugar in the bowl. We're gonna set up a kitchen towel underneath our bowl so that way it doesn't wanna spin and wobble. Now, once we've got our bowl secure, we're going to take a ladle and we're gonna move 1 ladle at a time, slowly streaming our cream mixture into our egg yolk mixture while we are whisking. The first couple of ladles, it's gonna be a little bit tough because the egg yolk mixture is kind of thick with all that sugar. As you start adding that liquid, you're gonna notice it starts to thin out and everything's gonna kind of come together easier. Keep doing this until all your cream has been added. Now from here, this is another chef tip. We're gonna take a small mesh strainer and we're gonna strain that cream and egg custard base into a measuring cup, large enough to hold all this liquid. 2 things. 1, this will catch any of that stuff that didn't dissolve or any eggs that decided not to play nice. And 2, this will also help us get ready to pour our custard into our ramekins much more accurately without making a giant mess. Now that our custard mixture is made, we need to set up our water bath. We're going to go grab as hot of water out of the tap as you possibly can. Open up our oven carefully. We're gonna get our Pyrex dish with our ramekins empty into the middle rack. Then we're going to take our custard mixture and we're going to pour that into our 6 ramekins evenly. We want to make sure that each one of them is filled to the same amount, and that's where the classic ramekins are super cool because they have a line around the rim. That way each one of them gets the same amount without you even having to guess. Once those are filled, then you're going to take your hot water out of the faucet and then you're going to fill in around the ramekins about halfway up. Then you're going to close up the oven and we're going to cook it for anywhere between 30 to 35 minutes. It'll kind of depend upon how deep your ramekins are, how wide they are, how shallow. We're gonna use our best judgment. What we're actually looking for, we're gonna check every 10 to 15 minutes just to see what it looks like. What we're looking for here is a custard that's set with a little bit of a jiggle. Now, if you've ever made Jell-O, you know what we're talking about. That custard, when you shake the pan, will actually wobble a little bit. That's the visual cue that your custard is set where it needs to be. That little bit of jiggle means that custard isn't overcooked, it's not set too firm, and it's gonna be nice and creamy when you go to run your spoon through it. Once that jiggle has been achieved, again, 30 to 35 minutes, go ahead and pull that out carefully, get it up onto your stove, and then you're going to take a resting rack and remove the custards out of the water bath onto the resting rack. This is a key step here because we don't want to continue to cook the custard in the hot water and the hot pan, and that will lead to an overcooked, nasty product. So we're gonna remove these off into the refrigerator to cool completely for another hour or two. Now that our custards are completely cool, completely set, they're looking gorgeous, the brulee part of the creme brulee comes next. We're gonna take our ramekins full of the custard and we're gonna get them prepped for torching. So in order to make the perfect glassy, crispy, cracky topping for our creme brulee, it's as simple as adding a little bit of sugar. We're gonna take regular white granulated sugar, we're gonna pour that on top, and then we're going to move it around the ramekin so that way it's an even coating of crystalline sugar on top of each of our ramekin. We're gonna get our kitchen torch out and we're going to carefully and evenly torch each one. A lot of chefs out there will tell you that you need to wave the torch around in an even pattern and you need to make sure that you're never staying on one spot too long, and on. Guess what? That's not true. We have found over the years that the best technique is to actually stay in one spot, not too close. You don't want to hover that torch so close that you roach the top. You want to have your torch held back at a good angle, a little bit away, and you're going to stay on one spot until it starts to melt. You'll see it start to bubble, and you'll see it start to caramelize. Now you don't want to hold it so long that it turns to smoke and catches on fire, because that's not what this is. We want to make sure that we're doing it evenly, we're doing it controlled, we're being smart, our eyes are on what we're doing, we're focused, but we're gonna hold it until that starts to melt and form that crust. The reason we don't wave the torch over like a crazy person is to actually let the sugar melt and do what it's supposed to do. If you keep moving back and forth, you're gonna start to melt one granule of sugar and then not. And then you're gonna go over someplace else and it's gonna start to warm up over there, but then it's really not gonna get hot enough to melt. And then you're gonna come back and that spot's gonna finally melt, but it's only gonna melt part way. Once you've got all of your creme brulees torched properly, this is the most satisfying part about creme brulee besides eating it. You're gonna take the back of a spoon, you're gonna hold it up, and you're gonna smack the back of the spoon over that caramelized burnt sugar, and you're gonna hear it go.
Yep.
Perfect. Now we get to dig in right there. That is the perfect creme brulee. Now we're gonna back this up one step for you, because if you don't have a torch at home, there is another method. Every oven should have a broiler function on it. So we wanna take those cold creme brulees. These absolutely have to be as cold as possible to help avoid burning the actual creme brulee in the final product. You're gonna do the same thing with the sugar. You're gonna get the sugar on. You're going to put the creme brulees into a 9x13. Make sure that there's no water in it. And then you're gonna move the rack in your oven all the way to the top that you can. You're gonna kick your broiler on to high. Key here is to let that broiler heat up for about 3 to 5 minutes, so that way it's completely even. And then you're gonna take those creme brulees in that pan and slide them in under that broiler. You're gonna be watching for that sugar to do exactly what it did with the torch that we just showed you. If you need to, if you see that something's a little bit hotter on one side than other, you're going to be moving this around in the oven. You're gonna be kind of rotating it, you're gonna be shifting it, however you need to based on your oven. And you're going to eventually get some form of caramelization and some form of burnt sugar on top. We cannot guarantee that it's going to be the perfect even crack like we just showed you. And again, that's why we use the kitchen torch, because it gives us the most control. I also understand that our kitchen is equipped for all of this, and we are hopefully teaching people who may not have as many resources as we do. We love to show that everyone can cook, and this is a perfect example of that. Once that broiler has done its work, you're gonna pull that out, let it cool down, because every surface on that's gonna be really, really hot, so be very careful. Let it cool, let the sugar cool down, and form that nice crust, and then you get to enjoy it just the same. And that's that. It is a little bit more labor intensive than some other things that we've done here, but man, that work is worth the reward at the end. Absolutely delicious, creamy custard, nice and sweet, balanced with salt.
The perfect crack on top.
Exactly. And that means that we nailed it. Again, thank you, Ms. Sharon, for the eggs. Thank you again for our friends out there who have asked us to show them how to do something new. We'd love to hear from you in the comments too. If there's anything you want to learn how to cook in the kitchen or learn how to do it better, quicker, faster, more efficient, tastier, let us know. We would love to feature you in the next video and to hear from you, so that way we can all build a community together of like-minded chefs, of families like us. We got to use a new toy today, which is really fun. We had a friend ask us to add more fire to our episodes. Thank you, Lorenzo. Hope that did it for you. Until the next one, we'll see ya.
Bye.